So, folks, we gotta talk about the fact that we could, in fact, make America a better place. I know this sounds crazy as a concept. Just bear with me here. We could take a situation that's uniquely terrible and actually improve upon it to make it not terrible. But hey, one of the big things that prevents people in the United States from taking risks and doing things, following their talents, following their passions, is that it is a huge economic risk to try and make the leap to something new when you are uncertain about whether or not you will be able to keep an income, keep a roof over your head, keep food in your tummy, get healthcare, etc. And one of the countries that I think is really showing us a way forward for what we could do here in America, and something that's probably possible on just a statewide basis, even a citywide basis, okay, is a form of universal basic income, or at the very least, targeted basic incomes. And Ireland is doing something like that, okay? Ireland just turned a basic income scheme for artists in the country into a permanent policy, which is really, really cool. So essentially, they have gotten started with a €325 a week program that will go to artists and allows artists to have a stable source of income so that they can go and create art and like get their businesses off the ground and foster like communities where people can not suffer in order to make their art, which is really, really cool. Like, as somebody who's online a lot, I see a lot of online artists constantly talking all the time about the fact that, hey, they need to have a full-time job just so that they can afford to like spend a few hours every day working on the art that they make. And with a program like this, we could allow artists to actually have the free time to make art unburdened by, the need to have a second job. And I think that that's really, really cool. Now, what's really interesting about this program is that Ireland tested it first. So let's just take a look at how that went. All right. The Basic Income for the Arts BIA initiative will provide €325 a week to 2,000 eligible artists based in the Republic of Ireland in 3-year cycles. And let's take a look at how that helped. The permanent scheme follows a trial that ran from 2022 to 2025 to help artists during COVID pandemic shutdowns. Now, I want to echo this real quick. The United States did similar payments during the COVID shutdowns. We actually were able to cut child poverty to record lows based on different programs that the United States implemented during COVID that we then rescinded under Joe Biden. And the thing is, those programs saved us money. They saved us money. They lifted children out of poverty. It allowed for long-term savings for like a short-term investment, And these programs just went away under Biden. Like, it was one of his colossal policy failures as a president. What is really cool to see Ireland doing is noticing what worked, what actually meaningfully improved people's lives, and saying, hey, what if we did more of that? What if we did more of that, guys? Well, let's take a look. The pilot, for which 2,000 artists were randomly selected from 8,000 applicants, lowered the likelihood of artists experiencing enforced deprivation and reduced their levels of anxiety and reliance on supplementary income. The scheme recouped more than its net cost of €72 million through increases in arts-related expenditure, productivity gains, and reduced reliance on other welfare payments, according to the government-commissioned cost-benefit analysis. So, just to be clear, this program saves Ireland money. They give artists a guaranteed paycheck, and it saves them money. Okay? It's super cool. And I want to point this out. It's replicable. We don't just have to do it for a handful of artists in Ireland. And I would hazard a guess that now that this program has become permanent in Ireland, it sets the stage for it to be expanded, right? And similarly, we should have those programs here in the United States. State subsidized art via UBI. Yeah. I mean, especially with like AI raging right now and like companies trying to like destroy entry level arts jobs. Like, what we should be doing is offering this subsidy to artists in the United States to make sure artists can like enter into the art job market, as it were, without having to suffer, or at least not having to unduly suffer. And like it recoups its losses by the fact that like when artists are then able to just create their work, they can then go on to sell more work. They can actually make it more of a thing, and it gets them up off their feet faster. And so then the government is able to recoup that money in the form of tax revenue off of like art sales and such like that. This is such a great idea, and we should be looking everywhere for what works and doing it here in the United States too. We have genuinely so many paths forward for ways that we could meaningfully improve our communities. Because again, when we invest in our communities like this, it means like art can then be put out into our communities. We can make our communities more beautiful, more meaningful. We can start moving away from this idea that like communities have to be drab products of investment, from venture capitalists. This is something that we should be doing everywhere. And I gotta be honest, it's something that we should be testing in other fields beyond just the arts. I don't think the Epstein class would like that. Yeah, the Epstein class probably wouldn't like that, but you know what? Fuck them. Maybe we should be doing more things that the Epstein class wouldn't like, say, taxing them so that we can fund infrastructure, taxing them so that we can have Medicare for all, something that also, by the way, would save us money. So many studies have been done on this. Medicare for all would save us money in the United States. I just, I want you to know that while things seem pretty not great here in America right now, a better world is possible. That's really why I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about how we can make things better. We do not have to be content with the status quo. We do not have to be content with Democratic politicians who get up in front of us and tell us how they're going to put up a big fight against Donald Trump, but then present nothing to us about how they're going to chart a path forward beyond that. We do not have to be content with just someone who's willing to rhetorically stand up for us, but when it actually counts in terms of putting policy into action, sell us out. We do not have to put up with that. We need people who actually have vision on how to make things better. And that is one of the things that is going to separate the politicians who will be forgotten from the politicians who will be remembered for all time here in this country. So, folks, let me know what you think. Is this a good plan? Let me know down in the comments, and hit the like button, subscribe, follow, do the things. Consider supporting the stream financially if you're at all able to. And also, get organized. If we get organized, by the way, we could make this happen on the municipal level. We could make this happen on the state level. We could even make it happen on the national level.
Basic income program for disabled people.
Yes, we should. The way the United States government treats disabled people in America is draconian, and that's me being charitable. There should be basic income programs for folks who are disabled, 100%. And guess what? I guarantee you, I practically guarantee you that investing in these basic income programs recoups the loss. It allows people to be more productive because people like doing work. They like putting things out into the world. They like doing things. Any kind of investment you put into these things is going to come back tenfold for the community. All I have to say is, if we get organized, if enough of you join your local Dems, if enough of you join your local DSA, you can, in fact, organize enough people to change your local political system, to change your local political reality. And you can get programs like this passed. You can get programs like this passed in your city. And it might not have the wider reaching effect of a program passed in, say, the state, but it can have a huge impact on real people who live in your area right now. So I implore you guys, get organized. Join your Dems, join your local DSA. And I tell you guys to do this at the end of every segment because
0.
if you do get organized, you can then organize elsewhere. You can organize beyond just your city, beyond just your state, and we can truly change the world for the better. Okay? And I know that each and every one of you has a local Democratic chapter. I know each and every one of you has a local DSA chapter, or if you don't have a local DSA chapter, you can make one. And I tell you guys this because it's available to all of you, and there are like-minded people who are probably already going to be there on the local level. And your job is to find those people and radicalize them to more progressive politics, to better politics, to politics that can chart a way forward for all of us. And so, that being said, if you need help join our Discord. Reach out to Dragonfly for your help with your local Dems. Reach out to GamerG for help with your local DSA. And folks, last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Tested on cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. And it's non-tucking lingerie. Check it out. Link down in the doobly-doo. And let's keep on going to that better world.
Riverboat deck is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack